Welcome to the Top 5s on Tap podcast. I'm Hayden.
And I'm Josh. Every week we'll be discussing a new top 5. There'll be some facts, some trivia, so feel free to have a guest along at home.
Suggestions for new episodes are always welcome, so if you've got one, email it to us at top5sontap@gmail.com.
We'll consider all topics, providing they are somewhat quantified and aren't entirely opinion-based, because our opinions
Mean nothing. With all that being said, let's get into this week's Top 5. Hello and welcome back, everyone. I mean, I said you may be a new listener starting in episode 3.
That's mad that if that's the case.
But we're up to episode 3.
Or episode T.
Well, that might be a little hint as to what's coming up.
They can read the title.
Yeah, well, we hope so.
But yeah, thank you for making it this far. Episode 3, of course, if you read the title, it's the tea consuming countries per capita.
Per capita, yes.
So per number of people.
We want to know those averages, boy.
Yeah, you might drink a lot of brews yourself, but we want to know how many people in your country drink a lot of brews.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So yeah, there's not really much to red tape on this one, is it? It's just pretty much how much tea is drunk by all those people.
Well, I think it's just, is it black tea as well, or is it specifically like a tea as in a sort of brewed like beverage? Are we talking like chamomile tea or mint tea is counting in these?
Some herby stuff don't think counts as actual tea. I think we are kind of talking straight up tea.
So I just wanted to clear that up because there's some people out there who drink a lot of like, I love me mint tea. Don't count, mate.
Not on this list.
Doesn't count.
Not on the mint tea list. But yeah, we'll keep it strictly to black tea then.
Yeah. Well, let's jump straight into it then.
Let's go.
5.
Number 5 on the list of tea-consuming countries is Russia.
Oh,
yeah, it's a bit of a sore one at the moment. But
it's the Russian people. Let's say that
the Olympic Committee of Russia.
It's the Russian International Independent Tea Drinking Association.
Tea drinkers with no nation who were previously in Russia, but they consume 1.3 kilograms per person per year, which is slightly less than 2 cups of tea per day.
2 cups of tea a day, right?
Which is a good start.
That's a good average. That's a good
start on the list.
There are people out there who don't drink tea in Russia. I mean, I imagine they may all just drink their standard 2 cups of tea. They might be very uniform, but
it's very traditional in Russia, tea.
It is.
Yes. The typical style of drinking tea in Russia is brewing it using a traditional tea brewing device called a samovar. Have you heard of a samovar?
I've not. No.
No, it appears a few times on this list actually. It's quite a popular thing, yes.
Is it some kind of metal pot?
It is a big metal pot for brewing water.
That's quite convenient because I think that's pretty essential for the tea drinking experience.
It is.
The ability to boil water.
Have you heard of Russian tea? Like the actual thing, Russian tea?
Russian tea?
Yeah. So in Japan there's a term called Russian tea. It obviously
so this is a Russian export then?
No. So it's like how you drink it, like how they drink it in Russia. This is how we're going to drink it in Japan.
Right.
And it refers to specifically having a black tea, but with a spoonful of jam.
Ah, yes, I do know. I've read that Russians take their tea with jam or lemon or sugar.
Yeah, so you put the jam on your tongue beforehand, or you mix it in. Typically strawberry as well. But yeah, I've never had my tea with jam. Have you ever had a tea with jam?
No, I haven't. No, that's a new one for me. Did you know that they also sometimes, when they're going to drink the tea with a sugar cube, they'll hold the sugar cube between the teeth.
Yes, I think I did read that.
And then drink. And apparently this started in the 19th century and it's still a tradition today.
Wow, that feels very impractical.
Yeah, it feels like especially if the tea's quite hot. So I imagine it'd be that enjoyable. You want to sip it rather than just chuck it all in your mouth.
So do you have to talk between sips?
You'd have to drink a lot of tea to dissolve a whole sugar cube as all held between your teeth.
That's impressive. I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to give that a try.
4.
Number 4 on the list is ourselves. It is the United Kingdom of Great Britain.
Disappointing, to say the least.
Considering it's supposedly like all we have going for us, like tea drinking culture. That's what we're known as across the world. For our tea and crumpets. It's a bit sad that
it is.
That we're only 4th on this list.
4th, yeah. I find pretty much every website I went on said it is considered an important part of British society and a prominent feature in British culture and society.
Well, exactly.
So we really do have nothing other than our tea drinking, and we're not even the best at that.
But what percentage of the UK population would say drinks tea, Josh?
Oh, are we including actual eligible tea drinkers? So as in, do babies count in the population? Because
I'm going to say the question asks British population, so I'm going to say yes.
Okay, let's go with 60%. 60%.
It's 84%.
84%.
Yeah. Those babies are suckling that tea straight down.
Straight from the teat.
Yes, exactly.
But no, I did not think it'd be that high.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's still good, but still not good enough for this list, eh? Still down to 4th. We do 1.5 kilograms per year, so slightly more than Russia, because that's how numbers work. And that's
why we're higher on the list. That makes sense.
That averages out to around about two cups of tea, just slightly over 2 cups of tea per person per day. So if you're drinking less than that, you're letting the side down.
You're slacking.
So you need to be hitting at least an average of 2 to keep us in the game.
Exactly, yeah.
We really want to be going for at least 3 or 4 if we want to get up this list.
What percentage of British tea is consumed from a tea bag?
Oh, a lot, I reckon. Now I think probably like 91%.
96%.
96%.
And what percentage of tea is taken with milk?
Oh, not as high as that, but still high. 89%.
98%.
98%.
More people drink. You got to think like people drink from a teapot. They're always gonna have it with milk.
Yeah,
mate.
true. Yeah,
there's 2% of those weirdos out there who don't.
Because black tea is a popular theme on this list, but
yeah,
we are
not in Britain.
Not in
we
Britain.
love our milk.
We do love our milk. Straight from the teat.
3,
Number 3 is Iran.
Iran.
We've just shy of 2 kilograms, 1.99 kilograms per person.
Slapping us up.
Per year. So yeah, a big jump up, another half a kilogram on the United Kingdom. Very different to the United Kingdom as well. Iranians very much prefer their tea without milk, so not like the 98%.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
There's a common phrase in Iran where if you actually add milk to your tea, they say you've made your tea a widow. So you've essentially killed your tea
Wow.
by adding milk to it. So
wow, that's crazy.
they are very much
That's disrespectful.
They are the
I've got to say
they are the 2% of.
But I respect their tea drinking ways being more prominent in the tea world than we are. So.
They are higher up the rankings.
They obviously know what they're doing. They obviously know what they're doing.
They know best. It's served in a transparent glass often, which is known as an estakan, which comes from the Russian for stakan. It's a deep transparent glass, and it's to show the intense colour of the tea. So you can see it as you're drinking it. So you know if you're getting a good brew.
Yep. You know how Iran first came across tea?
I don't.
It's conveniently located on the Silk Road, isn't it?
Of course.
So as the tea shipments were first coming from China and then later on India, Iran thought, hang on, we can have a bit of this. And all along the Black Sea coast of Iran is tea growing territory.
Right,
they grow almost all of their tea needs in their own country.
They cater self-catering
self-sustaining tea country. Yeah,
I did read that coffee was very much a feature before tea, and now tea has taken over.
Yep.
But yes, interesting.
Very interesting.
2,
Number 2 on the list is in fact our neighbour,
Wales.
Ireland.
The Republic of Ireland.
The Republic of Ireland, because I think Wales is classed in the United Kingdom.
I think it is.
I
think it is, yeah.
But yeah, it's Ireland at number 2.
It is. 9.
They're managing to chuck down 2.19 kilograms of tea per head.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's a lot of tea. That's I don't know how many that is in bags, but I think it's almost 3. It's almost 3 a day.
Yeah, it's getting that way, yeah.
It's pretty impressive from Ireland.
Yeah.
Good averages there. Anything interesting you let on the way about Ireland's tea drinking culture?
It distinguished from the UK tea culture, even though we have very similar tea drinking cultures. We like it with milk and things like that. But they're like slightly spicier and stronger flavors.
Yes,
of traditional than the traditional English blends that we drink.
Yeah, I think that comes from the history of it. So I was learning that. So basically, obviously, tea exports were mainly controlled in Britain at the time in the 1800s, and Ireland got a bit of a raw deal out of it. And got sent the lower grade and stronger teas, basically.
Yeah.
And to combat that, they basically brewed it for longer, but also added a lot more milk than we typically have in England.
Right, yeah.
So they have a slightly milkier brew, with some places having up to a third of milk, which is my
that's
ideal
how
brew.
I like it, yeah.
Yes, maybe we're a bit Irish.
Maybe we are. Maybe we are.
But yeah, the milk helps obviously dilute that stronger taste, and it's kind of carried on as time has gone.
Very good, yeah. I can't really say just very good, yeah.
We'll find out another fact about Ireland and chuck it in there.
Yeah, let's chuck it in. We did not.
1,
And number one.
It's finally number one.
We got there. It is Turkey.
Turkey.
With a whopping
Wow.
3.16 kilograms of tea consumed
Wow.
every year per person. So that's double the UK. So that's more than 4 cups of tea a day, which
That's
is
a lot.
for an average, that is incredibly impressive.
That is because I mean, some people out there are drinking 10 cups of tea a day.
Just to combat those non-tea drinkers,
Exactly,
that's so impressive. Do you know actually workplaces are required by law in Turkey to allow at least 2 tea breaks within a working day
Really?
to keep those averages up?
Well, to be fair, if I had legally mandated tea breaks, I probably would be drinking more tea.
So yeah, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, 2 during work, and then as many as you want in your free time.
Wow.
So yeah, four cups of tea per day per person, which is huge. Also among one of the top 5 tea growing countries in the world,
yeah.
which maybe we could talk about a little later. If we've got
Maybe
any
so.
facts on that.
Yeah.
Anything you learned about Turkey along the way?
Yes. Tea drinking was. It's always been popular since like cause being on the Silk Road again, like around.
Love that Silk Road.
They do love the Silk Road, but then after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire at the end of World War One, they lost a lot of the coffee growing provinces.
Right.
When they lost a lot of territory. So in order to... coffee was obviously very expensive to import because they weren't growing it anymore. So they had an abundance of tea. So they got everyone onto tea instead.
Right.
So coffee was the king in Turkey.
Coffee was king, and
then they just went mad for it.
everyone went tea, and they kept going mad for it as well.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, very much a big part of Turkish culture, tea drinking. But congrats to Turkey,
Yeah,
number 1.
congratulations.
Yeah,
You made it.
We'll throw in an applause somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah. So interestingly, as you pointed out before, Turkey is one of the top 5 tea producing countries in the world.
Yeah.
It's actually the only one of the top 5 drinkers to make the list.
It is, yes, yeah.
All the rest of the top 5 producers aren't big drinkers. Well, not big enough to get on the list. Let's
I
just say
think
that.
some of them have an issue with being big drinkers, but also large populations. So per capita, they are somewhat hindered. But yeah, Turkey, number 5 on that list, I'll get it down as.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so they grow a tea called Riza, if that's the correct pronunciation. Who knows? Found from the region of the same name on the Black Sea coast, I think, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, yes, it seems like it's a good tea growing country up that
good,
way.
Good to grow tea around there. You have number 4 on that list.
I do, yes. That would be Sri Lanka.
It is, yeah.
The island off the coast of India.
Yeah, it's they started growing it there as Britain's competing with China's tea production.
Yes,
in,
yeah.
1876.
Yeah, China wouldn't give us enough tea, so we thought, well, we'll grow our own in someone else's country.
I've got an interesting fact there for you later on, but I'll tell you now. Do you know when the first tea crop was ever grown and harvested in the UK?
Never.
Most recently as 2005.
Wow, excellent. We did well there.
It took a while. Still growing it though. They've got it's in Cornwall, in Tregothon.
And it's grown just in the ground, not like in a greenhouse or anything.
I don't think so. No, I think
wow.
it's man managed to grow some kind of tea plant.
Probably have to genetically modify
Yeah,
it to death.
I mean, it took him the best part.
Breed it with potato or something. Potato.
Beautiful. I'll do the puns. Number 3, Kenya, as expected. Big coffee grower as well, Kenya.
Is it?
Yeah, they do. A lot of coffee, a lot of tea. Yeah,
They're coming in at not much more than Sri Lanka, 305,000 tons.
Yeah, but
Still a lot of coffee. Still a lot of tea.
Introduced quite a bit late though, 1903. Tea
right,
Kenya.
so they're on the way up then.
Yeah, on the last 100 years, but they're very much a big player in the tea growing game. Number 2, India, big step up this time, 300,000 tons to 900,000 tons.
3 times as much.
3 times as much as Kenya and Sri Lanka. First introduced in 1824 by the British.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
So we went, we'll do India first. It's going well there. Oh, we've got an island off the coast of India. Let's chuck it in there as well.
We need more tea growing space.
More tea, so Sri Lanka.
Give us more tea.
Tee us up. And yeah, it worked. So basically, India was producing the most tea for over 100 years. So we overtook China's tea production for quite a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's surprising because I can see China's number here and I'm surprised that China's come back with a vengeance.
It's the old India-China battle comeback that we've mentioned a few times.
Always competing.
But yeah, so basically, India was number 1 for tea growing for a good 100 years. And then in the turn of the 21st century, it's only in the last 20 years, has China retaken that crown.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
So if you didn't guess it by now, number one is
China.
of course.
Thank you, Donald Trump, once again.
Of course, Donald's still there. A big step up as well. Have you got the figure for China's tea growing?
2.4 million.
Wowzers!
Wow.
Almost
3 times again.
Almost 3 times. That is astonishing. So yeah, they drink a lot of it over there. But like we said before, a lot of people. So
Yes,
per
exactly,
capita,
yeah.
that does screw over a little bit. I don't know why I did this, but I worked out the maths. If you were to drink, try to consume all of the tea that China produces in a single day,
All the tea in China, you're saying?
if you're trying to consume all the tea China produces in 1 year in a single day, you'd have to drink 365 million brews in a day, which would average out to 250,000 brews a second.
Or the more manageable 1 million brews a day for a year. You know, who are going to go down that route?
That's probably easier, yeah. I think I couldn't do 1 brew in a second, let alone 250,000.
I think that's I think it would be a continuous drip at that point, or a flood. Intravenous tea.
Oh, I wonder how that would go down. I can't imagine very well.
Death, I think, would be the result.
Death by tea. I think it
Death
would be.
by tea.
What have I got for you? I've got a quiz. Got a little quiz.
Go on then. You know I love a quiz.
So
You know I love a quiz.
tea we spoke about. We're number 4 on this list. Not number 1, but number 4.
Yes.
But we do love our teas, and it's very controversial topic as well. Tea over here. People have their favourites, don't they? In terms
yes.
of brands. So I'm not going for popular vote. I'm going for actual purchasing power.
Okay.
So which brand of tea do you think is the most purchased in the UK?
I'm going to say most purchased Twinings.
Twinings is down at number 4.
Oh,
Twinings down
right.
at 4.
I was going for going down the hotel route. You see.
I like it. I like
An
it.
airplane route.
But I don't think it's.
People don't actually buy it in their own homes.
No.
That's a good point because I don't really like Twinings either.
I mean, either. You kind of have it if it's there, don't you?
So let's go for PG tips.
PG tips number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, solid number 1.
Big up the PG tips.
And then that's followed by. What do you think that might follow by?
Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea at number
Big
2.
up the Yorkshire tea.
It's a close number 2 as well. Close
Is it?
number 2. So Twinings is number 4. So number 3 and number 5. What do you reckon?
Tetley's.
Tetley's at number 3.
Tetley's in number 3.
And Twinings, and the last one, another tea. Lots of tea.
A lot of tea. They're all teas, yeah.
Tea.
Well, you know.
It's almost like it's tea for teas.
What another begins with
Starts
T.
with tea.
And I've already done Twinings.
Sounds like a tropical rainstorm.
Typhoon.
Typhoon.
I've not heard of that one for a while. You know,
Yeah,
that didn't come to mind straight
Still
away.
going apparently. Still
Wow.
going. But yeah, we were good to go down the popular vote. Someone did a poll last year. And
Okay, yeah.
Yorkshire tea. is
Yorkshire
the
tea takes the top.
outright winner. People
Yeah.
are passionate about that Yorkshire tea. I've got some world records for you. If you want to hear some tea world
Some
records.
tea-based world records. Go on then.
Tea-based world records. A couple that I think we could probably try and break as well. Maybe not just us, but with more people, maybe. How many cups of tea do you think were made in 1 hour by one person?
In 1 hour by one person.
1 hour. How many cups of tea do you think you could make in 1 hour? I mean, they're probably not going to be the best brews you've ever made.
With the right setup. In an hour. Oh man, like a lot. Do you have to complete one brew before you move on to the next one?
Possibly. I didn't look too far into it, but I feel like that might be a thing because otherwise you just do multiple tea bags at one go and multiple and just pour loads of water, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I feel like they might. Do you reckon they have to use? I didn't look into this. I really should have. But do you reckon they have to use the same kettle? Because that would affect your time quite.
You don't use like a big
'cause if you had like
water heater
if you had water heater on supply constantly, that's kind of cheating. But
boiling tap.
But also that'd be the best way to. I feel like you'd have to use a kettle. I feel like you'd be forced to use a kettle.
Yeah, because it kind of levels the playing field
Yeah.
a bit. But then what happens if your kettle boils faster? You know, you could have a more powerful
That's
kettle.
what I mean. You can bring your own kettle. BYOK.
Tactics,
But
yeah.
I feel like you would definitely this number is not on an industrial scale. Like they're
So not talking like a couple of hundred cups of tea. One in an hour though.
an hour though.
So it's how many a minute?
I believe there's 60 minutes in an hour.
That's correct. Yeah. So I reckon I could do. If I'm talking boiling the water and everything,
Got to boil and refill.
boil and refill.
And you can fit probably eight cups in an average kettle, in a full kettle. But that takes a while to boil. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say like averaging 3 a minute
3 a minute.
It's 180.
180. That's not bad. You won't come close to a record, but that's a good effort. Good effort. 725.
Wow, and that's pretty industrial, I'd say.
You reckon? You think they might have had a setup going on?
Yeah. I reckon there's a video out there, for that. That's an interesting one. The world loves that one.
An hour-long video. Largest tea party ever had. 32,681 people. That's quite a large tea party.
We might need some friends for that one.
Yeah, that one we might struggle with. This is one I thought we could do. Most people whisking tea simultaneously.
Right, that's an interesting one.
288 people. We can find 300 people.
No, I suppose that's because it's like an official attempt, but there's probably more than 288 people doing it right now
in the world
simultaneously.
Oh, I've got one of them for you actually. So I had a teapots in different, not teapots, tea parties in different locations simultaneously. So simultaneous tea parties.
Right. Okay.
And that was then across 6,000 locations, and that was only 280,000 people.
Really?
So I feel like that's breakable as well if you organise people.
Yeah.
Good enough together.
Yeah.
Any other good records I've got for you? Just lots of things about biggest collections of tea bags.
No one cares about that.
Weirdos.
We're all about drinking tea here, not storing it forever. No one cares about
some
that.
Some guy's got 839 different types of tea bags. Like, come on, mate. Like, get a bit of a better life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Largest collection of tea sets. 999 full sets. Like, get another set. Get to the 1,000. Why are you stopping at 999?
Who knows?
Probably lack of room.
When we started drinking tea over here,
yes,
it became more popular. It started off obviously as a high class thing because it cost a lot of money to bring it over.
Of course, yeah.
But slowly but surely, as the supply increased and the prices went down, tea and sugar became incredibly cheap. So it became part of a staple, part of the diet of the working man.
Yes.
In order to keep him powered, tea-powered people, you could have your nice sugary tea and then get you back in the mill for another 14-hour shift.
You're speaking like you've had experience.
Not personally. I feel like maybe in a past life I'm having some sort of like regression.
Of course.
Feeling, because everyone's always like, why is that person always like the king of wherever in their past life? Where are the tea drinking mill workers? That's what I want to know.
Don't hear enough about them, do we? We really don't.
But yeah, so the thing that it was drank and it helped the poor workers eat their dry bread and cheese. Helps them as a digestive aid.
Ah, of course, yeah, kind of.
And obviously it was warm, and Britain is usually quite cold and rainy.
Quite cold and wet, isn't it?
So it's quite attractive.
Anything warm to warm you up that isn't hot water.
Additionally, and you may have heard this fact about beer before, related to cholera and things like that.
Ah, yeah.
The water in the ever increasing industrialisation of Britain wasn't very nice.
No.
Full of lots of dysentery and cholera and typhoid.
It's not what you want.
But obviously, when you're drinking tea, you've got to boil your water.
You do.
So it actually helps prevent some of those diseases.
Kills a lot of that bacteria.
Yeah, so a lot of people who drank a lot of tea avoided the, it's tea or cholera back in those days.
Do you think that was also like those things like they're by choice, as in like, so then like they actively decided to boil the water, or do you think it was a kind of a happy coincidence kind of thing? Or do you think they knew that boiling the water was helping them?
Well, no, I think it's a happy coincidence because I think they're probably drinking tea. You can't really make tea with cold water, can you?
No, true.
So you have to heat it up to do it.
But when the action of boiling the water, do you think they were doing that because they knew that the water was contaminated with those things?
People didn't really have germ theory. People didn't know where diseases came from back then.
So they just wouldn't have assumed.
Yeah.
But then
the guy who figured it out kind of did it by deduction from people not drinking the water effectively, and they weren't getting ill, so it must have been in the water. But they still didn't really know what was causing it in the water anyway, just like tainted.
Of course,
water,
yeah.
So.
No, it's interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
I learned about tea bags. So obviously,
Okay.
a lot of the people on this list, a lot of the country on this list, even they don't use tea bags, mainly tea leaves.
Yes.
But over here in Britain, we are 98% tea bag, 96%.
96%, yeah.
Sorry, 98% milk drinkers.
We are, yeah.
96% tea bag. So the tea bag was actually an accident.
Was
so
it?
In 1908, a merchant called Thomas Sullivan from New York came up with a tea bag when he was sending samples to customers in tiny silk bags. And some people believe that the bags were meant to be used in the tea. They were like kind of metal infusers what they were using at the time. So they just chucked the tea bag straight in. And people were like, actually, this is quite good. I'm not drinking tea leaves.
Quite a good idea, yeah, because no one wants tea leaves in your tea.
So, so it kind of caught on. And then the first heat-sealed paper fibre bag was painted in 1930.
That early?
Yeah, by a man called William Hermanson.
Well done, William.
And the rectangular tea bag that we kind of commonly associate with, just kind of standard tea bag, 1944, patented. So
okay.
Quite late on, really.
Wow, yeah.
So tea has evolved very, very quickly in modern history, really.
Yeah, it's like a tea arms race.
Yeah. Talk about warfare.
Okay, yeah. Warfare.
Well, kind of warfare. The Boston Tea Party. Are you familiar?
All right, yes. I've heard of it, for sure.
Not the kind of tea party you'd expect.
I don't think much tea was actually drunk.
A lot of it was thrown into the harbour.
Right, yes.
So it was a political protest that occurred on the 16th of December 1773 in Griffin's Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. And basically American colonists were very frustrated and angry at the taxation without representation. A common theme in the colonial American times where they obviously were getting taxed very heavily by the British but had no voting representation in the UK at the time. And they dumped 342 chests of tea imported by the British East India Company into the harbour as an act of protest. And that caused a bit of a ruckus, to say the least. I bet it
did, yeah. That's a lot of tea.
That is a lot of chests of tea. I
don't know how big. I'm imagining a chest is big. It might just be very small, and I'm saying
handheld chests.
Yeah,
yeah. But what about you? Any other tea facts?
Well, you spoke about an accident earlier about how the first tea bag was done by an accident.
Of course, yes.
Well, I mean, not one to cast aspersions on another country's mythology, but apparently the first cup of tea ever drank was done by accident as well.
I think I did read about this. I've not got it written down, but I'll hear the story again.
According to legend, there was a legendary Chinese emperor,
yes,
Shennong, way back in 2700 BC.
That's a long time ago.
And it said that he liked drinking his water boiled before he drank it, so it would be clean. So I mean, he obviously knew there's something going on with the boiling water. I mean, this might have been written a long time after, and someone's made this up afterwards. But so that is what his servants did. They liked boiling his water because that's what he wanted.
Smart guy.
And then one day, on a trip to a distant region, when he was sat there waiting for his water to be boiled, a servant was not paying very good attention to his water, and a leaf from a mysterious tree fell down into his cup.
Oh wow!
Now this servant probably should have noticed this leaf in the cup, but he didn't. And the leaf managed to brew its magical flavors into the water.
Oh my!
And the water turned brown. Now, for someone who's supposedly, very conscious of drinking clean water, to be handed a cup of brown water and then still take a sip of it, he's very confident in being boiled.
This has got some Alexander Litvinenko vibes going on.
Yeah. So anyway, he drank this tea despite it being brown, and he loved it. And,
wow.
and I assume he took some of that bush back with him.
What was his name again?
Shennong.
Shennong Twinings, was that?
I don't think so. No, it's not. It's not a corporate. It's not a corporate history. But the actual earliest recorded use of tea. This is like there's writings like going back to like the 3rd century BC where people spoke about things that sound like tea.
Yeah, and brewing stuff like putting things into water.
Yeah, for like rituals and things like that. Yeah, but they actually found in the Emperor Jing of Han. In his tomb, he died in 141 BCE, and they found tea in his tomb.
Ah, right, okay.
Tea, which is sort of a similar strain to what we drink nowadays. So
this could be one of my oldest facts.
So it's legitimate tea.
Oldest tea leaves.
Yes, yeah,
yeah. 2,100 years. That kind of adds up to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That adds up to your date in that. So yeah, some old tea leaves. I imagine they don't taste great. But
they might be a bit dry now, yeah, a bit stale. Tea goes a bit metallic, doesn't it, when it's been sat out for a while?
It does, yeah, not the nicest of tasting. I learned this fact many years ago, which I'd never considered before, but I don't know if you know it. So you know about tea tasting? So there's professional tea testers in the world. So every big tea company has many tea testers.
Oh, like a
sommelier of tea.
Right.
So the way it works is obviously every tea bag you have is made up of an assortment, a blend of many different types of tea, and they are not consistent, so they vary in different kind of strength. And
right.
depending on how the manufacturing process is and the different cultivates of different plants. Every batch you're going to get is not going to be the exact same strain.
Yeah, different years will vary. And
exactly.
So
So
how much it rained
these
and
tea
things.
testers who've got these fantastic tongues, say who work for PG, they know what PG tips tea
It's
tastes
supposed
like.
to taste like, yeah.
So they get the blends in every day, and then they essentially decide how much of each blend needs to be added to this batch.
It's a lot of power.
It is.
That's a powerful position in the world.
They could change an entire batch of tea just by one bad taste.
They could change the world.
I won't go that far, but they could definitely change something. But yeah, it's a very interesting skill to have, being able to taste that subtle differences in tea.
The question is, Josh, we spoke before about how there's a lot of contention around milk in tea and things like that. But did you know that there's an international standard cup of tea?
I did not.
Now, I'm going to shout out Tom Scott for this one. He's a very good YouTuber who gives some good informative videos.
I heard he likes our podcast.
He may well listen to the podcast. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Shout out Tom Scott.
But ISO 3103 from the International Standards Office, International Organization Standardization even. This is the actual standard cup of tea, as it should be.
The world standard.
Yeah. So what you do is you take the pot should be white porcelain or glazed.
Okay.
This I think this is the brewing pot, and then basically it goes into specifics about how much water and should be used. Brewing time is 6 minutes. 6 minutes is quite a long time.
That's a strong brew, that.
But that's what they're going for, yeah. If the test involves milk, then it is added to the bowl before pouring it, before pouring the infused tea into it. So this is actually saying the standard is milk before tea.
Well, but I think over here, milk before tea means that you put the tea bag in the milk. So this is your pre-brewing your tea.
But it does say here, unless this is contrary to the organisation's normal practice. If milk is added after the pouring of the tea, so they're allowing for both cases, the standard notes that the best results are obtained when the liquid is between 65 and 80 degrees C. So the idea is you don't want to pour your milk in when the tea's too hot.
Right, okay.
So that is officially the standard cup of tea.
The way to do tea.
Now it's obviously there's people who have different preferences, but they had to standardise it somehow and make a.
Of course,
you know,
and this is a world standard as well.
The idea of the standards is that someone who has no idea how to make a cup of tea could come along and follow this
and make
a cup of tea.
So this can go in a time capsule.
So it sounds like it'd be a bit of a rubbish cup of tea in my opinion, but they're on the way there.
Yeah,
it doesn't have any mention of what biscuits should be drank with it or anything like that.
Terrible, very plain cup of tea.
Yeah.
I've got a fact on that actually. So apparently 30% of Brits don't believe the tea bag
exists.
No, so I should rephrase that. So 70% of Brits believe you go tea bag, hot water, milk.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
the standard, the British standard. But 30% disagree. That the tea bag goes in first, followed by the boiling water, and then lastly the milk. They think it's a milk first, tea bag in.
You don't put a tea bag in milk. That's just wrong. The tea before milk thing makes sense. I think if you're making it from a pot of tea, if you go to a nice cafe or something and they give you a pot of tea, I can see putting milk when it's like already brewed tea.
Yep.
You put milk in your cup and then you pour the tea in. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. That's fine. That's standard.
But tea bag in the milk.
It's pour 4 minutes.
That's a bit weird.
Infusing the milk before you.
I'm sorry if any listeners out there who might do that, but I can't. I'm not on board with that.
It's going even further. So of those 30% who don't do water, tea, milk, 76% are men. So they add milk first, and not only that, men are also more likely to boil the water in the microwave.
Oh, men are rubbish,
rather
right?
Than the kettle. Like in the microwave, how lazy! God.
Yeah.
Just the click of that kettle when you know it's boiled. The sounds.
The microwave it's a weird one, that, isn't it?
Like to put your milk in, then your tea bag, then your water, cold water as well, and then put it all in the microwave.
Oh, what you mean? Like make the tea? Not even like boiling the water in the microwave.
I'm assuming so, unless they're boiling it in a separate cup.
So you're making like very watery milk with a tea bag in it, and then put it in the microwave. That's on a new level.
That's rogue, isn't it?
I was not expecting that one.
That's rogue on another level.
Yeah. When I thought I was going to learn some stuff about tea today, I didn't think it'd be that sort of stuff. To be honest with you, Josh.
Well, apparently millennials are also bad for it. And they're committing the brew sins, with half of the millennial generation adding the tea bag last after the milk, sugar and water.
I don't. This doesn't sound right. Is this based in England or is this like some global? is it these Americans ruining our tea habits
I think
here?
this is England, but I feel like someone's hijacked this poll and started answering
This
a bit,
doesn't sound right
a bit
to me.
jokily. Because, yeah, this doesn't sound like my millennial friends.
My British sensibility is I'm outraged.
I have no more tea facts for you.
Exactly, we're all out of tea. Now, I know at the start of the podcast in our little intro clip, we do say about how our opinions don't matter. So please don't read into anything we've said today about tea. If you want to make your tea in the microwave, you carry on being a weirdo, that's fine by me.
There's been a very heavily... I didn't realise we were so passionate both about tea.
It's like I said, we're only fourth on the list, but tea's a big part of our culture.
Just as a quick roundup, even describe your perfect brew, Hayden. Let the listeners know how you making your tea.
I'm quite liking the sound of the Irish tea, to be honest.
It is up my street.
I like to leave the tea bag in.
You're slightly different with that, yeah.
I'll leave the tea bag in. I'll let it get nice and strong.
You don't take it out at all until
I don't
you finish,
take it out.
until you finish that brew.
I like to suck on the tea bag after. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. And then, so yeah, I'll leave the tea bag in for a while, let it stew for a bit, and then add in quite a lot of milk. Because I like to drink my tea as well. I don't want to sit and wait for it for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
So the more milk you put in, the colder it gets.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Some people warm up the milk, which I do not like, because I use my milk very much as a cooling agent for my tea. Now, I want it on the go. I want it ready to drink.
There's an interesting one as well for this. We actually have we've done some experiments based on tea cooling properties of milk, because we once made some milk ice cubes. And I got to say, it doesn't work. Don't try it.
It does not freeze well. Milk does not freeze well.
No.
It does not dissolve well either into tea.
It's surprisingly, I think I had to use a whole tray of milk ice cubes to make my brew even slightly milky. It was very, very bizarre. I don't know what happened to the milk. It seemed to have disappeared. But
You can also use tea to infuse things like alcoholic beverages, such as
yeah.
tequila.
The famous Keo tequila.
Yeah, so, Thomas, if you're out there, we'd love a review of how that tequila went down.
Yes.
Because basically, you take a bottle of tequila, throw 4 tea bags in there, and leave it for about 3 days, and then take it around.
Then forget about it for longer.
for quite a while. Leave it in the fridge though, so it's safe. Anything in the fridge is safe. They're the rules.
You want it to be like a pitch black in colour. That's what you're going for.
It was very dark in colour, and then you take it around to your friend's house and leave it there.
And then he drinks the whole thing apparently. So it's gone.
It tasted great. Yeah. So tequila, patent pending.
Patent pending, yeah. And I think we get to that part again where we're going to have to say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah, little roundup again. Email's still there.
Email is still there. No emails yet. We're still waiting on the first one. Please email us.
Please do.
But yeah, you can...
top5sontap@gmail.com, just in case anyone...
Yeah, that's all letters, no numbers.
TOPOFFIVESONTAP @gmail.com.
Yes. I think we've got a few letters wrong there. We're also on Twitter still.
We are.
We're still waiting for our first Twitter follower.
I follow us on Twitter.
You follow us on Twitter, sorry. Yeah,
I think so. I think I follow us
on Instagram as well. I mean, we're not posting much, isn't it?
No.
It's more of a show of support.
To be honest, we'll let everyone know when an episode's coming out before it hits the socials. But
we're still coming at you on Spotify,
Apple Podcasts,
Google Podcasts, YouTube as well now.
YouTube.
Yeah, if you want to watch it on your computer for some reason,
it's just a picture. It's just a single
still picture. Yeah, we might do something a bit jazzy in the future, but at the moment,
maybe one day we'll film it. I don't know what angle we'd film from, but yeah, maybe one. I might have to tidy the place up.
Like a low angle.
through the glass table, underneath the glass table.
Like a real behind. We should do just only behind the scenes videos of how the podcast is made.
That'd be good. I think people will like that. But yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, and who are we saying bye to this week, Hayden? Who's the?
We're gonna say au revoir to our French listeners. You didn't make the list today. You may do in the future.
Goodbye.
Bye.